Hello, everyone. This is Sincere Intentions on YouTube, other known as Derek to some people who may be watching. Um, so today I just wanted to talk about some things surrounding my life, and well, that's what my YouTube channel is gonna be surrounding, and just talking about things about my life. Um, Story times that I will probably upload in the future will be included. Um, but I think I wanted to start uploading on YouTube because of some things I want to share. Um, and I think that these things I want to share, you know, people are not that open about usually. And I think my goal is just to get a message across to people. Um, you know, uh, I think that a lot of people don't talk about themselves personally, and I think that in order to get your message across is the only way you could do. And I also think that like being strong, being able to talk about things, part of your life, things that may be bothering you, is something that everybody should do. But let me tell you, it's not easy. It really took a lot out of me to actually want to start making these videos for you guys. Like, it's just a lot to think about, because there's points in my life that I feel like I've I haven't had enough courage to actually tell people about things that they don't know about. So basically, I'm gonna stop you know I'm gonna stop gatekeeping you guys. That's the word. I'm gonna stop gatekeeping you guys about what I'm about to tell you guys. So basically, there's some problems. There's some problems that I've been going through for a while now. Um, so just to let you know that, you know, this has been happening since eighth grade year. Um, you know, well, to be more specifically, these problems are mental problems. Um, so since eighth grade year is when everything really started to kick off, and yeah, it's been tough for me over the past 3 years. And so these things come from people that I've been friends with, people that I knew from other people, experiences that I had with family. And but I'd probably say the majority of things that happened um were because of my friend group at the time. I think that I think there was a lot of drama that happened, that took place, and this drama really consumed my mental peace. And you know, before I feel like before I feel like, I feel like I didn't know what to do. I feel like I was oblivious to the things around me that really made sense to me now. Now, I'm saying this out of what I've learned so far. You know, life holds so much more than, what's going on right now and what has happened in the past. I'm not saying that I know everything, I have all the answers right now, but, you know, I, I know that there's so much more to life than what I'm going through. I know that life holds a lot more. Um, that I'm subject to change, and every single one of you are subject to change. You know, I also want to start making these YouTube videos for the purpose of helping my community out, not just myself, not just for me. I believe that, having a community by my side to talk about these problems is something that I really want to do. And to have people relate to me, to have people um, understand where I'm coming from, and then kind of think about how what I'm saying may relate to them. And yeah, so I'm gonna get into it. Enough stretching. I feel like that's kind of what I do. I start talking about one thing, and then I just stretch. I just stretch it into a whole new thing that I didn't mean to talk about. But, you know, I guess that's just how I get my message across. So anyways, in grade 8, I'm not going to name names. 8th grade, however you want to say it. I went through some trust issues. I gave my time to people that didn't deserve it. So I was in this friend group. And at the time, of course, I was happy in my friend group. But really, everything in grade 8, at the beginning of 8th grade, there was problems with a certain somebody. This certain somebody was somebody that I thought I cared about. And so this certain somebody, I became friends with them. I met this person through a friend. And so this girl, she came out as a very shy person, low self-esteem, had her own problems, and there's nothing wrong with having problems. So my mindset then, I wanted to help everybody I could, and I had this concept of being able to keep friends means to do things that maybe you don't want to do. And I think that was something that was very negative, that I used to think. And I'm glad that I've learned that that's not the case. But anyways, she led me to believe that she was being she led to believe that she was being beat at home, that her father didn't like her, that she her life was terrible. And I don't know all the details behind her family. I don't know everything, but like to this day, I still don't know like what is true, what is not. It's one of those situations. But what I do know is that I tried to help her through her struggles, and in turn, it made me mentally unstable. I gave my time. I put in my trust in this girl. I wanted to help her. And the reason I wanted to help her was because, like I said, I just wanted to see whether or not, this person could be a good friend of mine, whether or not I could trust them. And one time we were on a call. We were on a FaceTime call on Snapchat. And she was not okay. We were chatting about, school, the drama that was happening at school. And I didn't mention this, but um, I had a falling out with one of my best friends, and um, me and her got into arguments. Um, we fought about certain things, and those certain things led to her choosing a choicey friend group. Let's just say, um, this friend group this friend group was not a good group of girls, and she she kind of changed. And you know, I think that after everything that happened with that, like, me and that girl are still friends today. But sometimes I think, like, if that didn't happen, we probably would still be best friends. But you know you can't live in the past. You have to understand and forgive, you know the mistakes you did. And I don't believe that it was entirely my fault, but at the same time, I believe that we were all in our own boat. We all had our own problems, and you know we got to move on from that. And I think that's something that everybody's capable of doing. Everybody is susceptible to change, and that's what I'm trying to do right here. So basically, as I was talking about, me and this friend, best friend, we yeah, we had a falling out because of the whole thing, that I was trying to help this girl out. She thought that I was, you know, she thought that I was leaving our friendship for to help this other girl, to give all my time to this other girl. Um, and then at the same time, I made friends with another girl. Okay. Um, so there was two girls. The one girl that was suicidal, the other one I met at the beginning of the year. So the second one that I'm about to talk about, she got into some complications with my old best friend. And I became closer with this person that had problems with my best friend. And um you know I felt like I was in the middle of it. I had to find my way around it, essentially. And so my best friend thought that I was um she thought that I was on this friend that I met that year. She thought that I was on her side, that I didn't want to be her friend anymore, that I was being fake, essentially. And really, that wasn't the case. But things came to things, and yeah, it happened. Shit happened. So um, I think that I think that that whole thing, with my best friend, it really taught me some things. Taught me that drama, getting into other people's business, involving myself into people's business really tears one down. And it's not something that I regret, but it's not something that I'm happy about. Um, I think that we all make mistakes, that we all have had our setbacks, in terms of, you know, being in a relationship with someone, being in a friendship with somebody. We've all, said something, done something to make the other mad, to make the other one upset. So truthfully, we're all a criminal to that crime, I guess you could say. So anyways, so this girl that I was trying to help, the one that was suicidal, she she led me to believe all sorts of different types of things, that she was threatened of her life, that she you know, that she cared about me, that she seemed to want to progress our friendship more than what it was. But I knew that wasn't right for me. You know, uh, we both weren't mentally stable for anything more than a friendship, and it was complicated. It was very, very complicated. Um, she so she was on this FaceTime call, and she was harming herself. She had a razor or some type of sharp blade. She was cutting herself on the arm, and that's something that I still think about. You know, I at the same time, you know, I really do not believe in I really do not believe in, you know, reminiscing about the past and living with that guilt, or living with something, you know, like at the time I felt like I could have done more. But there's only so much that you can control as a person. And I think that the only reason why I think about that is because it was almost traumatic for me. Um, there's some things that you just can't forget about. Um, you know, for me, my mind is my worst enemy. And you know, to know that this was only the beginning of, you know, me being mentally unstable, it's hard. It's hard to think about. So after this whole um after this whole drama scene in this year, after the course of this year in grade 8, you know, moved on to high school. So going to my freshman year, um, things slowed down. Things they slowed down, and you know, I finally got to understand, you know, that things weren't as bad as they were. That things happen, and maybe they were supposed to happen. They helped me learn. They helped me progress. But I still had that chip on my shoulder, I guess you could say. And so then going into this year, um, going into this year, it's a grade, 10th grade, I I fell short. I fell short of being happy. I became somebody else, really. You know, mentally I'm still trying to figure myself out. Um, I didn't know who I was before, and I still don't know who I am. And I just wanted to talk about how, you know, some of you watching may know me from, you know, my school. Some of you watching may know me from basketball. Some of you may know me from TikTok. I know that some people knew me on TikTok from posting and being on the For You page. I've gotten some people saying, you know, not to say that I'm a popular person, but you know, people knew me from TikTok apparently. anyways, um, yeah. So this year, really, really, it was really tough to say the least. I think that um, I think that what I'm trying to say here is that I lost my love for what I was doing, which was basketball. I don't plan on making it my career anymore. I had dreams to go professional. Um, and I think that those dreams really they really meant a lot to me, but at the same time, right now, my current well-being was being destroyed. I was letting basketball take over my whole life. Um, I feel like I kind of changed, my attitude. My habits were getting better, but my attitude towards people, I was being disrespectful to some family members. I felt like I wasn't being fair, you know. I feel like basketball really made me uh more disciplined. I've become disciplined from basketball. Um I've learned a lot of things about life from basketball. I've learned a lot of things from people from basketball. But the negative things about what I got from it, that being I I gained a lot of anger, and anger whenever I got fed up with myself. I felt like I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't going to be, you know, that I wasn't going to be great. I felt like I couldn't do it. As much as I trained, I was waking up at 5:30 a.m. in the morning every single day just to get some extra reps in. I feel like I wasn't appreciated, I wasn't respected for what I was doing, that, no matter how much I tried, that I just wasn't subject to success. I felt like um I felt like I was subject to incompensation, and that meaning that I felt like I had to have a reward for what I was doing. That I feel like I wasn't looking as something that I love to do. There was times where I was like, I love the sport, this is my passion, but in truth, like, it really wasn't. I was constantly getting down about myself. Um, you know, uh, there's times I couldn't bear to think about anything else but the fact that I was a failure, that I wouldn't amount to anything. So that led to me not going to basketball practice. That led to me, not playing my game. I feel like I hadn't really shown what I can do in games. My confidence went down a little bit. Every single time we had a game with the team, um, I feel ready going in, but then, throughout the game and coming out of the game, I was a different person. You know, I feel like I I feel like I really just I feel like I really just put myself under a lot of unnecessary pressure. You know, um, I'd have a stretch of certain good games. Say I had like 15, 20 points one game. The next game, it went down a bit. Maybe I went to 12 points, and I was like, okay, it's not what I had before, but hey, I'm gonna keep going. But then it progressively got worse. And the way I reacted to it was really why things turned out the way that they did. Um, I'd be bummed after every single game. Coach stopped playing me in the starting lineup. I felt like I was a loser. And, my grandparents, sorry, my grandma, one grandparent, she'd come to these games. My dad would come to these games. My mom was at every game. I felt like, you know, I felt like I was just kind of being, I felt like I was just there and they were watching me just be there, not doing anything. And I think that's what kind of tore me down. And now that I've learned that it doesn't really matter, these things are what help you build as a character. These experiences help you grow. And, you know, I guess I really didn't understand that. So, long story short, I fell short of my happiness. I stopped playing basketball. There was a stretch where I stopped going to school for, um, weeks, and then there would be days I'd go in inconsistently, but, I'd go in one day of the week, then not go for the rest of the four. And, my friends would be worried about me, of course. And, every time I would be at school, I wasn't happy. I was tearing myself down. Like, I couldn't be interested in anything, while I was at school. And that, that really, that really made me fall into to where I am right now. Um, so I stopped going to school. I, s- I'd be skipping meals. Um, I really hated myself. I really did. And one thing led to another. One day after school, I went to this nearby valley. I went to this nearby valley, and in this valley, there's this pathway that goes through, the forested area, and eventually it goes to a cliff. And I, sorry, it's to even talk about this, I'm fighting back my emotions, but I know that I gotta be strong to say this. But I went to this cliff. I stood over the edge of this cliff, and that day I was thinking about just completely just taking everything away. Just, I didn't want to be alive. I was thinking about jumping. I was clinging on to this tree right next to me, um, just looking down at this cliff, and I was like thinking, like, you know, I I feel like I will never amount to nothing. I felt like I was a failure. I felt like that, you know, since I gave up on my biggest dream, I let my whole self down. And like I said, I felt like I couldn't I couldn't do anything about it. And but thank God, I feel like God really I feel like God he really helped me. He really helped me in this moment. He told me that there's more in store for you. That that this path is not the end. That this journey has only begun. That you're more than this. The fact that you're thinking about this is terrible. You're going against what God has set in front of you. And also the fact that I have so many people that love, care, and support me, you know. And I knew that if I left my family, if I left, my friends, if I left my girlfriend, that they live the rest of their lives, in trauma, that they have to think about that that day every single day of their lives. And that's not something that I want to do. I feel like that would be too selfish. And this is not to say that people who commit suicide, people that have suicidal thoughts, that you're being selfish. It's not selfish to think that way. I think that we all go down a certain road in our lives and we don't know what to think. Shit, I don't even know what to think right now, right? So it's just like, it's about how we build ourselves back from these moments. Um, I started going to therapy. I went to my family doctor, um, and I feel like she really understood where I was coming from. The first day I went to go see her, I just broke down crying. You know, I I didn't even want to go. It was my mom that told me that I should go, but at the same time, there's something in the back of my head telling me, this might help. And I think that since I had that, I am progressively getting better right now. Um, so my family doctor, she referred me to a psychiatrist at she referred me to a psychiatrist at this hospital. And at first I was like, I don't want to do this. At first, I was like, I'm gonna try to get through it on my own. But now that I'm realizing, I think that I'm more thinking of it in the perspective as, trying to talk to somebody and get better, not as something like people are gonna use this, use what I have for the purpose of judging me, you know. Um, she referred me to this psychiatrist because she clinically diagnosed me with depression. And, you know, it's hard to say, just to get on here and talk to you guys about this really, I had to sum up a lot of courage to do this type of thing. I've never talked to anybody else about my problems but my family and, my best friend and my girlfriend. Other than those people, I haven't told anybody else. And I do have a lot more friends, but I just couldn't find the courage to actually talk about it with more people, because I feel like it's too hard for I feel like I still do kind of feel like this, but it's hard to know what people will think if people actually want to help you. I've gone through hard um hard endings of friendships, like I lost one of my best friends 2 years ago, um to some drama, to some foolish reasons, to be fair. I think that me and him were very close, and I still think about him today. you know I don't hold resentment, I don't hold anger about what we had, but I think that I still think about him in the sense that I still hope he's doing well. I still hope that he's doing what he's doing in order to be happy. And I hope that he's found a new group of friends. Um, by the way, he's moved away, so I don't see him anymore. Like, he used to live in my neighborhood, but he moved away. So, I don't see him anymore. And, even though I would never become close with him again, if I ever were to see him, that doesn't mean that you know, I don't think of him as, you know, someone that I want to do well, that I hope that he's living his own life, that I hope that he's not, making bad choices for himself. But yeah, besides all that, the message that I'm trying to convey here today is that, whoever's watching this video and whoever's come this far in this video, like, I truly appreciate you. Like, you don't understand how much this really means to me. Like, I just want you to know that if you're watching this and you have similar problems that I'm going through, that you have to talk about it with somebody. If you haven't talked to anybody about it already, you need to talk about it with somebody. Think about that person that you trust the most. Think about that someone that you love, that you deeply care about. Think about how would they feel if you didn't tell them, Like, obviously, for me, it was hard to open up to my close ones, my loved ones, about my problems, but I still managed to do it because I knew that I couldn't bear to live with all this in my mind. I needed to get this off my chest. That's the reason why I'm talking to you guys today. But yeah, if you're watching this video, the message I'm trying to convey is that there's more to life, that you can build from anything that you may run into, the setbacks, the trials, the tribulations. You can be a lot stronger from your problems, that this is not the end, that you're subject to change, that you're subject to being a resilient person, that you're subject to being who you want to be, and also to remember that you mean everything. If nobody's told you this, I love you, man. You can keep going, bro. You right there. You can keep going. You can fight through these problems. That, whatever life has for you, whatever God, if you believe in any type of religion, that your God is watching on you, that he's believing in you, he's watching down on you, he's watching you throughout your journey, and he wants you to keep going. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to understand that he has more for you, that this is only the beginning, like I said. And after every single video, I'm gonna share a quote. After every single video, I'll share a quote. After every single video, I'm gonna share a quote that means something very, very powerful to me, very important, of great significance, because everybody should have, a quote or quotes that they relate to. So this one is, never fear a storm, learn to dance in the rain. And this was said by Gordon Ramsay. Life has so many setbacks down the road. And that's not, I'm not trying to say that. That's not to be said, in a way to discourage you, to make you afraid. But it's supposed to send a message that even though, us You know, everybody goes through these storms. That doesn't mean that we can't bounce back. You have to learn to power through those things. You know, you can't work around them. You can't work around them. You have to go through them. And that's the thing that's something that I'm also trying to learn myself. But I think that that's something that we should all, you know, right? So, yeah, like I said, I hope that all of you guys watch this video taking into consideration that, you know, you matter, that life is not what it seems at this very moment, but down the road, there's so much more for you. God loves you, I love you, your family loves you, your friends love you. Keep going, bro. Keep going, bro. Keep going, girl, guy, whoever's watching this video. Know that you matter. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Peace.